What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is May 2nd. Bitcoin is bouncing today. We're trading at 28,800 as I'm making this video. And actually, we've created a higher low. Go down to the lower time frames, say the 4-hour chart. Bitcoin was coming up to resistance and we broke through, followed by a 10% pump, a 10% dump, a 10% pump, sideways action, dump, and now recovery. But once again, this is a higher low, and that's what I like to see. Demand does seem to be increasing. And why is that? Purchase by JP highlights need to rethink liquidity rules and stress testing. JP Morgan and First Republic are going to be sharing the loan losses. And if we go to the banking stock sector, you can see that today is a big red day. And I think that's why we're pumping for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin market saw that as a positive for Bitcoin. The banks are failing, banks are having trouble, bank stocks are down. Well, just another reason to be your own bank. So Bitcoin is getting bought up, and that is why we are seeing higher lows and increase in demand. Now, that higher low is actually far more important than it looks. If you go to the daily chart, this higher low maintains our trend, our parabolic trend that we've been discussing for months now. Bitcoin is still maintaining it. If we had fallen below that low, this low right here, 27,000, if Bitcoin had broken that low, or if we do in the future, well, that would actually be quite bad. It's still possible that the parabolic trend could extend out further, but it would put a lot of question marks on that idea. But as of right now, this tight range, this tight higher low here does allow us to maintain our parabolic formation. And we'll talk about that in just a second. In the last video on this channel, 6 days ago, it's been about a week since I made a video, we discussed the long signal for Bitcoin. I want to talk about that. And that was the MACD histogram showing that we had positive momentum building. At the time, the price was 27,900. And if we go to the chart, 27,900 was about right here, right? As we started to break that resistance, we saw the 10% pump, 10% dump, 10% pump. The crazy volatility ensued thereafter. But since that signal, we actually created a higher low right where that signal flashed. So that trade idea, it is still valid, right? So we are getting that higher low. It would have been cleaner if Bitcoin got the cross right away. But nonetheless, this higher low here does give me some confidence. I do think that Bitcoin does have a shot at playing this out into new highs on this run. Though I will say, before we move on to that discussion, if we do fail to hold support here, I'm looking for a very swift move. You could look at the weekly candle close zone as another area of interest, 24,200. That is possible. We actually have 2 weekly candle close zones right in that range, actually just about right on top of each other, back from August 2022 and February 2023. This is a pretty big zone that if Bitcoin did fail to hold the 27,000 level, well, we'd probably very quickly dip right into that zone. And that would be probably an extremely good buy zone, because I do think that the trend, the demand is likely still in this market. But I just want to mention that, not to just be too biased here, though I am very bullish on this market right now. As you guys know, we are getting that higher low, and that is putting us, right into this parabola. This is the parabola that we've been talking about on this channel for a very long time. For many months, we've been talking about the formation of this, and Bitcoin is now creating a higher low right along our parabolic curve, which could create the next major impulse up towards 48,000. That is the next step here, guys. And whenever I talk about, major moves like that, people, of course, get really skeptical. They think I'm crazy, but guys, this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin does this routinely. The same thing happened in 2019. And what was the target after base 3? We go to base 4. We didn't actually get to the top of the curve as it's depicted here. What was the target? It was the first lower high as the bear market began, which was about 11,500, but we did see wicks up to about 14,000, right? And so the more likely target would be 48,000 about. Roughly 48,000 is the area of interest, is the target zone for me, despite what wicks may show up before the breakdown. So that means that Bitcoin, in theory, has another 65% from here to the next target of 48,000. That is a 65% move. That is a tremendous opportunity if it does in fact play out. And I do think that Bitcoin dominance, let me go back to the weekly chart for dominance. If Bitcoin dominance does break out on this next run, if we run towards 48,000, this is where I think the altcoins will begin to see major moves, is after that run. And this is the same thing that occurred in 2019. Let's go back to the chart here and look at 2019. From base 3, which was about May 7th or May 10th of 2019, May 10th up to about mid-June, right? That was the final move for Bitcoin. And then after June 2019, Bitcoin trended down. But what did dominance do? If we go to June of 2019, that was the final run for Bitcoin dominance until we saw alt season. Altcoins began to see some major moves in this zone, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for here, is Bitcoin dominance to see one final blow off top before getting some sort of trend down. And then alt season could begin at that point. But that means that we do have one more major move up for dominance if the 2019 fractal is going to play out, which it kind of appears as if it is. So I'm going to be looking for that next, guys. I'd say June, July. Somewhere in June, July is when, you know, getting into the altcoin market may be the best option. Or even sooner if you want to front run that whole idea. Right? You just never know. Everything I'm saying is just my opinion, guys. There's no guarantees, and it could play out in 1,000 different ways, but this is just what I think. And so it's looking pretty good here. We may be on the verge of a bullish MACD cross up, which could give us significant momentum to get into that new high for the year. And once again, if we go 65% up from where we are now, which it looks crazy, it looks pretty crazy on this chart. This would be, in theory, the target. Once again, just like 2019, the first lower high as the bear market begins, 48,000. Now, I know that looks crazy. It sounds crazy, but you have to remember that when it comes to parabolic patterns, the final move, the final run, the final impulse to base 4 and beyond possibly, or, you know, however high we may go, what it suggests is that the price doubles. Now, I don't think we're going to get a double, but what I'm trying to tell you is that the velocity picks up big time on the second half of the parabola. It becomes sort of mind-blowing, sort of face melting, right? I don't want to get you too excited, but that is kind of what I expect right now, unless, of course, we break below our parabolic curve pattern. And if that does happen, well, I would say the trend is over and we would probably end up going sideways. But for now, I am remaining bullish, guys. And I do think a major move up to new highs is likely. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next video. And if you want to support this channel, join the Patreon. You get in the VIP chat. You can get in there, look at some of the trades I'm getting in, and I'll see you guys in the next video.